proceeds went to Ontario hospitals, you'd probably say it's the philanthropic thing to do, right?
No, I'd say it's super.
Back with you in the 8th end of the Canada-Scotland final for the World Junior Curling Championship. The Canadians retaining, or the Scots retaining last rock here in the 8th end. Canada dropped a guard out in front, and Scotland's first draw shot was hogged by their lead, Dick Adams. So now Canada's lead, McQuistin, about to play his second stone. The indication from Thompsett is he's having them come all the way in already. So the Canadians indicate they may go gambling early in this end.
Well, even if Mike does not get this rock in, somewhere between the house and the other long guard is a good shot. What he's trying to do is force Scotland maybe to play that long guard and just keep that other one right in front all the time. Keep him shooting at it for 5 or 6 rocks, and then maybe with Lyle Derry's last rock or Mert Thompson's first one, they'll decide to go in.
Friesen, just 17 years of age, curling for 5 years at Assiniboine. Plans to become a commerce student at the University of Manitoba when his high school days are over. He's got this one by with a lot of room. Now it starts to curl. And he'll be nicely up into the 4. He went there with a piece of that T-line, stopping just in behind it, as a matter of fact.
Well, that draw by Mike Friesen, he was a little bit heavy. They didn't do much sweeping on it till the very, very end, and you'll see that he left about 3/4 of the rock, or just about all of the rock, fully exposed, and you'll see that Andrew McQuistin has taken about a foot of ice, so he wants his lead man Dick Adams just to play quiet takeout weight, hoping that it'll work at the end.
Starts this one a bit outside. He steered that a little bit.
And he's a little bit stronger, I think, than Andrew McQuistin wanted him to be. Now the rock is starting to move in.
Even with that weight, it does curl, but it'll roll to be completely open now on the 8 foot. So a dangerous game being played by both these skips now. Canada, of course, has that guard out in front. They're playing for a roll in behind, and the Scots are playing to certainly get more than one here on this 8th end. Joel Gagné, the second.
And this is when the game starts to get a little nerve-wracking, where you're getting down close to the end, you're playing the 8th end. You cannot afford to make a mistake.
Come on!
He's very close to making a good roll. They might have jumped off that one a little bit too early.
Yeah, they might have. It's going to roll all the way back, so they lost it. The frustration is mounting on the part of both skips and both teams and not being able to get the kind of rolls they want.
Well, it was very important for Mert Thompsett to hit and stick there, to force Scotland to make the play on it. And that way they would take the attention away from that center guard.
Well, now McQuistin has had enough of that center guard. He wants it off.
Come on!
And they do. Take it out of play. So Thompsett will have to start building all over again for a potential steal here in the 8th end. Canada 2, Scotland 2. The Scots scoring with last rock on the first end. Canada getting just one as Thompsett missed a free draw for 2 in the second end. And then in the 4th, it was a single for Scotland as they stuck trying to blank, a single for Canada in the 6th end. The 7th blank for the Scots, and here we are in the 8th in a 2-2 tie.
And more that missed draw in the second end by Canada looms as a very large point. They're really working on this one to get it over the hog line.
It's going to be another long guard. Coming over now toward the center line. A third of the way between the hog line and the house. The total attendance for the week here in Kitchener, just over 24,000, taking in the round robin of the playoffs for this World Junior Curling Championship. Riding in every shot here, this crowd is again, it is cleaned off by the Scottish team. They may not prefer the hitting game. They are draw curlers, as most curlers are in Scotland, but I'll tell you, they can play this game of killing front rocks with the best of them.
It reminds me years ago in Ernie Richardson's era, he was a strong hitting team. If he got 2 points up on him, on any team, it was very difficult to catch him. And then everybody played the hitting game. Ernie Richardson switched to the draw game, so he had him confused for years. And then came Hec Gervais, of course, with the corner guard aspect of the game, and he revolutionized the game of curling.
He did in that sense, you're right.
This is another good rock. It's going to be very close to the center line. Well, you couldn't have picked it up and placed it any better. That is dead on the center line, halfway between the house and the hog line, and that's nice control of draw weight.
And again, with respect to the way these young people play the game, here's Brown at the other end in the hack, ready to shoot.
Well, he's really throwing a lot of weight here. And he's going to roll off as well.
Again, nothing in play. Well, you mentioned Gervais with his corner guards. He did revolutionize the game in terms of strategy. I think the man who attracted more young people to curling was Matt Baldwin with that long slide of his. I don't think the younger people were too enamored with the straight release just out of the hack by curlers back in the 40s and early 50s. Then came Baldwin, who would slide the entire length of the ice. In fact, to put a rule in that you had to let it go at the hog line. There was nothing at one time in curling to say when you had to release the rock.
Well, we've been blessed over the years with some great curlers, and you pick Baldwin, Gervais, Northcott, Richardson, Bob Pickering. You know, the list is endless. They're just great individuals and great curlers, and very, very colorful. This one may be in a little too deep. They have not laid a brush to it. Now it's starting to slow up a bit. You see Mert just slapped his thigh, hoping that it would stop short.
And it does out in front by about a foot and a half. McQuistin having a look at this one.
Well, he's looking at the angle. If he can hit a half a rock and roll into the rings. But that is pretty difficult. That rock is a good foot and a half out in front.
And he'll have Brown take it off.
It'd be interesting to see what happens here if they hit this one on the nose, whether Mert Thompsett will go around it. Only 2 rocks to come, so that rock is very tight to the center rings.
Not big weight thrown by Brown. He's going to stick.
There is no question Mert is going to go around this one. That rock is right on the center line.
All right, let's go down to Don Whitman in the meantime.
Bob Sutherland is the executive director of the Uniroyal World Junior Curling Championship. Next year, Bob, we know you're going to Megève, France. What about 1982? What cities are interested?
Well, we had a representative from Kamloops in here today, and Kelowna's very interested in doing something, and Fairbanks, Alaska seemed to be doing something, and Grand Forks seemed to be nibbling at it. So we're going to be back in North America in 82, but we haven't really picked a site yet. Still zeroing in.
Well, of course, this has been a very successful week. Your biggest crowd ever at a final in here this afternoon in the Kitchener Auditorium.
That certainly pleases us, and I'm sure all the young curlers, because they've done a magnificent job this week, John.
When are you going to make the decision regarding 1982?
Oh, it'll be later in the summer.
But next year it's Megève.
Next year, beautiful Megève, that marvelous French Alp resort town. You've been there, Don. You know how gorgeous it is, and the skiing and the...
Well, Don Duguid certainly has some fond memories of Megève.
I understand. You had made a great impression when he was there before.
Okay, let's find out what Don Duguid has to say about this shot.
Mert Thompsett going to the in-turn, and he's got good line. It just depends on his weight. They're really working on it. That rock is starting to cut now. Has he got enough weight to make the rings? He's got a good-looking shot, a great-looking shot. Now they're sweeping it to get it in deeper. They're really working on it.
Right in behind, it took something. It picked up something at the end and really spun in there. Corkscrewed into the 8-foot.
That rock really took a right-hand turn there. Good draw by Mert Thompsett. He would have liked it a little deeper, because now Andrew McQuistin, where that guard is, it's 2 feet in front of the house. If he hits 3/4 of a rock, he's going to run it straight back on that Canadian rock. Good draw by Mert Thompsett. You'll see it's dead behind that guard.
So McQuistin will play the raised takeout on his own guard.
And they yelled right away. They're really working on it. He's going to be very close to it. No, he's going to pull off it. He's going to drive it by.
Now it's really coming over. He'll open up the front, but he'll leave the rock on the ring, which will enable Thompsett to play down, perhaps bump his own up or stop short of it. I think he may try to set it back into the 4-foot and lie to.
Well, there's an old theory, you know, sometimes the best guard in the world is second shot rock. And I think Mert is looking at this maybe just to play his one that he just threw, bump it back into the 4-foot, and give McQuistin another shot at a double.
Or if he draws around his own and sits in behind it, that's fine too. So he's got a couple of possibilities on this shot. His last rock of this, the 8th end, with the final rock still to come from Scotland's Andrew McQuistin.
Of course, Mert won't be too upset if he stops just short, but he'd like to move that rock back about 3 feet. Looks like he threw lots of weight. They jumped on it. Now they're working on it. He's still well out there. The rock has got some curling to do.
He did give it an extra touch of weight, I think, Don.
They're trying to work it around. He's not going to make contact with that rock. They're trying to draw right around it.
He may do that, but I think he's going to be partially in the open. He's back in the 4 where he wanted to be, but he is a little bit outside of the other way. Nonetheless, he puts the pressure on McQuistin. His crowd loves it. The draw weight by Thompsett. He is lying too.
Well, that's a good shot by Mert Thompson, because now McQuistin has got a decision to make. Does he play the shot rock that Mert just placed there, or does he play the double? And I think the percentage shot for McQuistin here is to play the shot that Mert Thompson just threw there, play it very close, so that if you don't get one, you at least get the other. And that's surprisingly, that rock hung out a long, long way. You'll see that he took about the same ice. He was maybe a good 6 feet heavier, and that rock stayed out well in the open.
I think he's going to make the play on the one on the back.
Sure, he's got lots of room there. Danger is he's got to be very careful here that he doesn't turn that rock inside and just rub that front one and leave Canada too. He's called him off it. Brown's called him off it. He's well on line. He's still well out there. He's got lots of weight.
He can't afford to roll out.
He's going to roll out.
If he does, he's going to roll too far. He gives Canada a point as the Canadians steal the 8th end. And a very important end that is to do it on, because the even end puts them ahead by a score of 3-2. As McQuistin, with that weight, was just far enough outside to roll too far. So it is 3-2 Canada with 2 ends in regulation play to go. And now let's meet the team from Sweden, which finished 3rd here and won the bronze medal in this competition. The Swedish lead is Erik Pettersson. We saw him yesterday curling very well in the semifinal with Canada. Connie Ekholm at 2nd for Sweden. This team from Sundsvall in Sweden, Peter Svedlund, is the 3rd. And the skip, the very cool customer, makes his mind up in a hurry, Thomas Norgren.
Vi i det svenska laget vill tacka arrangörerna av detta Uniroyal tävling för en mycket trevlig tävling, och vi har uppskattat att få vara med här och spela.
Well, their reaction in their native language to the week here in Kitchener. We'll get back with the 9th end of this game right after we pause for these messages.
Set your sights, get ready to go. Where the good times soar, with friends are found. Catch a breeze, make it sail as you glide. As you sail through the day to that friendly sound. When you're smiling, keep on smiling. Smiles along with you.
Next Saturday on Sports Weekend, the Mixed Curling Championship from St. John's, Newfoundland, the semi-final playoff. From Lake Louise, Alberta, the giant slalom and slalom races, in the Canadian Alpine Ski Championships. Highlights of the League Cup final between Nottingham Forest and Wolverhampton Wanderers. And part 12 of the 1980 Canadian Superstars competition, their final test. That's next Saturday on Sports Weekend. And today we're featuring curling on Sports Weekend. Note here that the final event in this season's World Cup of Ski Jumping took place today in Oslo, Norway, at the famous Holmenkollen event, and it was won by an Austrian named Armin Kogler with jumps of 98 and 102.5 meters. Another Austrian, Herbert Neuper, finished third and clinched the 1979-80 World Cup ski jumping title. Canada ski jumping sensation Steve Collins from Thunder Bay was not entered in the event. Steve instead, I should say, is competing in Thunder Bay in the international event there, an invitational actually, and he set a 70-meter hill record there with a jump of 99.5 meters. Now, the Holmenkollen event is on a 90-meter hill, remember, and Steve is jumping on a 70-meter hill, so he is some jumper. All right, back to curling now at Kitchener, Ontario.
We welcome you back to the ninth end of this World Junior Curling Final between Canada and Scotland, who scored 3-2 for the Canadians. Don Chevrier, Don Duguid, Don Whitman with you. And we've got some rocks in play at the back of the house here in this ninth end. Canada with a takeout attempt, and they will roll away on this one, leaving their shot rock in the 8-foot.
Well, you know, right from the opening rock, Mike Friesen was a little bit heavy. Mert Thompson trying to put it in the 4-foot. He was heavy. The Scotland lead was heavy, and then Mert Thompson drew one in just to the back there, and Scotland has been attempting to freeze to him ever since. So Scotland is gambling here for more than 1 point.
They're having trouble finding the weight for these freezes. Here's Aitken now, not bad weight, a little bit outside of his target. He's going to just set it back and sit there for shot. Not a bad effort by Aitken.
Well, that rock had to do a bit more curling, or he would have been frozen to the face of that one. Of course, the more rocks Mert Thompson gets behind that tee line, the more problems it can cause him. So he won't be too upset here if he clears them all out. He would like to put one in the house and force Scotland to take one.
Here's Gagne hollering right away.
Come on! Come on! Come on, you guys! Hurry! Hurry! Get the roll!
He's got it, just nicked his own, but he's going to leave it over there. Canada line 2.
Hey, that is a great, great shot, I'll tell you, because now it changes the whole complexion of the end. Scotland's going to have to freeze because potentially now, if they just exchange rocks, Scotland will be forced to take one, and that would give Canada the last rock in the 10th end.
Yes, Canada wants a couple or three, or Scotland does, or else blank this end. But right now, as you see, the Scots are forced to play the freeze with the in-turn coming down. Actually, if the left-hander shooting it, it is the out-turn, the reverse of what a right-hander would have.
And he has nice weight. It just depends if it curls too far.
It's a little bit strong. He'll leave it back there, certainly not frozen. The Scots do have the backing of those Canadian stones at the back of the 12-foot, working in their favor right now.
And this is shaping up similar to the game yesterday against Sweden for Canada, where they were lying 4, and Nordgren had to make a good tap back to get one. And this is a difficult shot here for young Derry because he's playing the out turn and that rock falls. He wants to hit it on the inside and not the outside.
That's right. If he hits it on the outside, he could drive it back onto the Canadian stone at the back and leave it there.
Oh, Mert Thompson yelled wool right away, so he's well out there. He is going to hit this rock on the outside. Now it's starting to make a little bit of move, but is it going to be enough?
He just kicked it out.
Good shot.
He did get rid of it. They're still lying 2.
And so far, things are going according to game plan for Mert Thompson, because as long as he's got those 2 rocks in the house, he's either going to steal 1 or 2, or he's going to force Scotland to take 1.
Now Brown appears to have a lot of weight on this one for this freeze attempt.
As long as he has the line.
Well, they haven't swept it because of the weight, and he's going to be over to the right of the rock he's trying to freeze to. He'll bump it and leave Canada as shot. Scotland's Redstone, the number 2 shot now.
Now Lyle Derry and Mert Thompson are looking at that rock, deciding maybe what turn to throw. Derry just threw the out turn down there, so I'd be very surprised if they change turns. What Mert Thompson would like is for Derry to hit that on the inside and flop over in front of his other one, so that rock would be right on the tee line, and two lined up in a row makes it a little bit more difficult for Scotland to freeze to.
If you're wondering about the age limit, the rule states that anybody who has not turned 21 by August of the previous year is eligible. So basically it's 21 and under for this World Junior Curling Competition. Canada's coach, he's 22. Mark Olson, non-playing coach.
Mert Thompson calling him off. He's got a nice-looking shot here.
Yes, this is going to be fine. He will roll across the house now. Another piece of the forefoot. They're line 3.
Well, that's nice control of takeout weight by Lyle Derry. He just made 2 excellent shots, and the big thing is he's hanging around and he's changing positions of that rock. And that rock is getting closer to the tee line, so it's getting more and more difficult for Scotland to freeze to it.
Yeah, there is a pocket in there, so McQuistin this time is tempted to try it once more with the in-turn.
The only danger is the fact that Canada's got 2 rocks in there, and it's going to be very difficult if he makes a freeze to put it by both of them if they're attempting a takeout. So
it's a little quieter this time. They've got to work on this one.
Oh, he's got a good-looking rock. It's just a matter of it has to curl now. All depends on his weight. They're really working on it.
He'll bring it up pretty close. That is a good shot by Norman Brown.
Well, the big thing about it, you see the way he's kind of staggered it there. There's no way that Mert Thompson could get that rock out unless he hits just a corner of it without killing 1 or 2 of his own. You'll see Mert looking at the angle. He could have hit it very thin, but he's worried about that rock at the back. You know, if he hits a half a rock, he'll drive it onto his one that's just at the back of the forefoot. The one belonging to Canada at the back of the forefoot will go to the one on the far right-hand side. But Mert wants to be laying 2 after this shot, so that he forces Canada to take, or Scotland to take 1.
The Scottish shot conceivably could go over and wind up on the one on the left if hit just right. So there are a lot of possibilities on this one as Thompsett goes back for this attempt. His first rock of end number 9. 3-2 he leads. The Scots have last rock here.
Well, he's playing with just a fraction of an inch here. He would just like to corner that one by just about an inch and drive it out on the left-hand side. This is a very, very delicate shot, one that's going to take great accuracy and control of his hitting weight.
Derry just cut the ice down by a fraction of an inch for him as he delivers.
They jumped on it right away. Now they call him off it, so he's got to be very close. That rock is starting to belly out on him.
Here it goes.
Oh, he's going to be very close. He's missed it.
He touched it, but he's going to leave it around. It is second shot over there on the left, so that is a big break for Scotland.
Oh, he was ever so close to making a fantastic shot. That rock just had to curl just a fraction more, and he's going to pick it out there clean. Look at, they lift up the brushes, and this is where the rock falls right here. You'll see it. He just catches a corner of it. It just had to curl just a fraction more. He would have had a perfect shot.
So Scotland with a very valuable second shot over on the left now. Thompson has 1 rock to go on this end. The Scottish skip McQuistin still has 2. 3-2, Canada leads. So this bang-bang game has settled down now in the 9th end into a real test of skill for these fine young curlers.
Now, they're looking at this shot, Don. Now, there's 2 schools of thought here. Do you hit and stay right there and say, okay, we'll take our 2 points, be 1 up coming home? Or do maybe you freeze to it? And if he freezes perfect to it, how does Canada get it out of there? You'll just bang one onto the other and end up maybe Scotland getting a free draw for 3. But he's going to play the hit. If he hits it on the nose, there's a good chance that Canada may have a chance at a double.
Of course, McQuistin has to stick around with this one. He's got to be lying 2 when his opponent goes down with his final rock.
This is a very important shot for McQuistin. He would love to hit and stick right here. He certainly doesn't want to roll over to the left-hand side.
Now he calls them off and on again.
That rock is starting to curl a bit. He's going to hit it.
He's going to be all right. He's going to stick around right there. So They held the line well on that one.
Well, they really brushed this one, and you'll see the rock is starting to curl. And the big thing for McQuistin here, he hits about 3/4 of the rock, but he changes position with his shooter. You'll see it roll just to the left of center there. Now, Mert Thompsett is going to have to play the out turn, and he'd like to hit and roll in front of those other two at the back, making it difficult for Scotland to get more than one. And if he hits it thin enough, and he'll really have to hit it thin, he could end up making the double.
It's a tough one, though.
Well, that's the danger. You're going away from the rock, and you have to, as you're drawing by the rock, you just have to hit about 1/4 of the rock.
All right, here it is. His final shot at the end. Still a rock to come from Scotland.
You have to watch this one very carefully. He's right down center.
He wants to
Now
roll
it's
to the
starting to
left,
curl.
remember.
He's going to hit it right on the nose.
He won't move very much. Stays right there, guarding the quarter of the button. So McQuistin with a chance to make this takeout and stay and get 2 and be 1 up coming home with that last rock.
Of course, he went to school on Mert Thompsett's shot. You see the ice that he's taking right on the edge of the rock. The danger here for McQuistin, he cannot afford to throw it inside the broom, because if he throws it in, that rock will start to take off on him right from the hog line in. You'll see the brush there right on the edge of the rock.
Yeah, he moved it out just by an inch or so.
It's a very important shot. Doesn't take much time. He lets it go outside the center line, so he's going to be all right. You'll see the weight. He's going to carry the weight. He was a little bit
Playing it
outside the
fairly
broom, but
quietly.
right on the nose.
He's got all of it. There he is, the 2 points. That is the first 2 count of this game, just picked up by Andrew McQuistin of Scotland. And he takes the lead of 4-3 over Canada after 9 ends. Back with the 10th end for you from Kitchener's Memorial Auditorium in just a moment.
A great meal could be in your horizon. That's if you treat yourself to a night out at the Blue Horizon restaurant. What better spot to enjoy delicious seafood or steak than at Mississauga's connoisseurs of seafood plates, filet mignon, baked clams, New York strip, lobster, and king crab. Your Blue Horizon in exquisite dining is at 270-4681. Call for reservations now and discover the Blue Horizon restaurant, 2399 Cothra Road, just north of the Queensway in Mississauga.
Every time you bring your car to Family Auto, you get a nice surprise.
No surprises!
No surprises on your bill. No surprises. Our work is always guaranteed. That's why for wheel alignment, brakes, a tune-up, new shocks or tires, or simply an oil, lube, and filter, trust Family Auto to give your Family Auto professional workmanship. No surprises. Guaranteed in writing.
Professional care for your family auto.
Here it is, the 10th end of this final for the World Junior Curling Championship. The Scots with a rock at the back of the house, and Thompsett trying to throw up a corner guard just to indicate to everybody he's playing to win it right here by getting 2 in the 10th end. He has last rock. He trails 4-3. Two schools of thought. You can gamble everything to get the 2 or more to win on, or else you can play it safe and play for your 1 and force the extra end.
No, you pull out all the stops in the 10th end. You have the advantage of last rock. Last rock should be worth more than 1 point, so you gamble a whole end to get 2. Because conceivably, if things don't work out for Thompsett, he could lose in the extra end, not having advantage of last rock. And let me tell you, he's got this end set up because that Scottish rock is well behind the tee line. As a last resort, he'll freeze to it.
That is the last place the Scots wanted to be. They drive it back and leave the Canadians going to the back.
And I think Canada shot rock back
They
there as
are.
opposed to the one at the top of the 12-foot belonging to Scotland.
They are shot rock. Scots are second shot at the top of the house. As Thompsett takes a look at it to satisfy himself that indeed is the case.
Well, this is very, very nerve-wracking because now you're drawing for the game-winning point with your lead second rock. So it's going to be a long, long end for Mert Thompsett. He's going to have to exchange 7 rocks in a row if he expects to win this game. And let me tell you, with ice this keen, you have to hit a rock right on the nose to hang around. So, of course, for Mike Friesen here, he would like to get it in, but he wouldn't be too upset, even if he fell a little bit short of the rings. He has There's lots of weight. Now the rock is starting to come over into the heavy stuff. They better be careful. Now they're really working on it.
He's got pretty good weight. He's going to be down there well up into the 12 foot. In fact, he's going to slide up and have a piece of the 8.
Well, so far this hand is shaping up in Canada's favor, regardless of what Scotland does with this shot. Even if they make a double, that rock that belongs to Scotland that is a biter on the 12 foot off the center line there, they could draw around.
McQuistin with an eye to that double, looking at the rock behind him for Hugh Aitken, the young left-handed second. Throws good weight at it.
Boy, and they yelled right away on this one. He's going to be very close to making a double or a miss. He looks like he's going to be very close.
He's got the one, and he gets...
No,
he doesn't get the double. He just rolled behind it.
Oh,
He's
that was
awfully close.
So very, very close. You know, that's a fraction of an inch. You'll see as soon as they let it go, they screamed, hurry. And look at, he just catches a corner of this. The rock just goes right across the house and just goes by the Canadian rock at the back. And you see the look of remorse on McQuiston's face as he raises his arm. He thought he had a double.
That rock passed, I'd say, within half an inch of the Canadian stone of the back.
Oh, and this is a bit of a gamble on Mert Thompsett's part. He's going around the rock that is at the top of the 12 foot there. This is a real gamble on his part, because if he doesn't get it in around there and sets up a double, you know, rather than pay to the open side, keep him shooting on that side. Maybe with your last one go in around that one that's on the top of the 12 foot.
He's gone away from the open side, playing the out-turn draw.
Well, just a matter of line. I think he's got a nice-looking weight. Mert is really yelling at him, come on. He's got a great-looking shot.
Well, he's certainly by, and they want to let up now to have it stop high on the house. It does go a little bit deep, though. He's back near the other one. So it is possible for the Scots. They can get this just right to maybe double it off, although I'm not sure how much they can see of the rock that was just put down by Gagne.
And McQuistin is playing that front one off. You can see, they can see about a half a rock. If they could hit what they could see, he would make the double. But McQuistin is taking no chances because he realizes that one that's at the top of the 12 foot there on the right-hand side is potentially the danger rock for him.
Again, big weight from Aitken.
Wow!
You heard him.
Boy, he's
Called him
really
right
throwing
off.
this one.
He doesn't get it. He does not get the one to the back, but cleans the guard off, rolls over to be second shot on the left.
You'll see he was very, very close to making this shot. That rock had to just come over a bit more, and he just drives it by the Canadian rock. Look at that. Oh,
That
just
is
a
close.
fraction of an inch.
So twice now they have just missed getting a bonus, the Scots.
This is a very important shot here for Thompsett. He has to hit and stick, because if he hits and rolls out those two on the right-hand side, there is a possible double. Mert yelled, whoa, he's well out there. Now they're starting to work on it. He's a little bit quieter maybe than he wanted to be. They're really working on it. Well, he doesn't want to roll to the other side.
He's got it. He will roll across in that direction. He is back in the 4 foot. They're all lined up in a staggered roll there. 1, 2, 3 for Canada.
Let me tell you, there is a possibility of a triple kill here.
It's there, the way they're lined up. Let's see how this one finished up.
They're really working on it, because if he hits and sticks right there, it's absolutely a perfect shot. But he hits and rolls over the right-hand side where the other two Canadian rocks are. And where that rock stops, if Scotland hits it a shade on the outside, there is a chance for a triple here.
Here's Brown, big weight.
There's a vapor trail behind this one. They are really working on it. He's throwing big, big weight. He's going to be very close.
1, 2, and he triples them out of there. A big shot for Norman Brown of Scotland.
Oh, you talk about clutch shooting. Do you know how accurate you have to be to make a shot like that? Look at this. They're lined up. Perfect. Look at McQuistin down on the ice. He's lining them up. Look at the action he gets on this. 1, 2, 3, and rolls them all out. Not only that, his shooter stayed in the rings.
And he changes the shot. It's way over on the left side now. So that is probably the shot of the game right there by Norman Brown, the third for McQuistin.
That's got to be disheartening for Thompsett and his team, but the one thing that he's got going for him here, you see where that rock is sitting? It is behind the tee line.
So
and
he can freeze to it.
That may be the saving factor in this whole game. If Lyle Derry can freeze this rock flush to it, Canada has still got control. Oh, he's throwing a lot of weight. He's well out there, and
Looks
he
a bit
is
heavy.
strong. Oh, anything but strong. He can afford to be light, but not heavy. Mert has turned around. He's walked away. He knows that he is dead heavy and through the rings.
They have lost it. So amazingly, in his 2 shots, the whole complexion changes. Here are the Scots now. With shot rock, Canada down to their final 3, needing 2 to win it. After that tremendous triple by Norman Brown.
Well, you know, you can reflect back on shots. The fact that Joel Gagne hit and rolled over that side, putting all those rocks in a row. You know, you don't think of another curler making a triple, but just where he stopped, the angle he lined them up at. Well, I think, Don, they're standing out there deciding whether you put another one in the house and force Canada to hit and stick for their 1, or do you just play the whole end, hoping that Canada hits and sticks and gets 1? He's going to put it right on the other side of the tee line.
Which would ensure, if they exchange shots the rest of the way, that Canada does get no more than 1. And, of course, that is the aim of McQuistin. He'd love to see Canada come up without a point here or steal a point himself to ensure this win. But the thing he can't afford is 2.
Well, what he probably was talking to Brown about is the fact that don't be behind the tee line. If you're going to play it in front of the tee line. See, he's looking at that one over there on the left-hand side that is behind the tee line. This rock has to be placed perfectly, because if it slips behind the tee line, Thompsett just going to freeze to it. I think maybe somewhere in that discussion there that they were thinking of maybe taking their own off.
I'm sure they were. Now, this is tough for Brown. He threw a screamer to get the triple, so he's coming back now with draw weight.
Oh, and he looks a little dead heavy, too. He's going to be a little bit strong. They have to get it in the 4-foot area or the 8-foot area.
It is no chance for the 4, maybe the 8. They're going to sweep it all the way through. Aitken just made sure he went all the way through with it because they weren't going to get what they wanted.
Well, the other sweeper dropped off that one because he knew he was very, very heavy. And, of course, he didn't want him to stop behind the tee line, so they just swept it to make sure that it went through the rings.
Now, Thompsett indicates he wants a long corner guard out in front.
Well, I think he's just kind of reassuring Lyle Derry that better short than heavy, Lyle. So he's throwing a nicer rock this time. He's going to be considerably quieter than his first.
He is much quieter. They will leave it out there. And as a guard, as Thompsett goes gambling for his 2 by dropping his last rock by his 3rd short.
Well, there's 2 schools of thought here. The long corner guard up. The opposition has 2 rocks to come. Maybe play it on the other side as opposed to running that front one off. Because if he puts it on the 4-foot on the other side, Canada cannot ignore it. They'd have to make a play on it. But he's going to run this corner guard off. Of course, the danger here, he doesn't want to hit it just a little bit off center and drive it back on the zone that's in the house.
Again, good weight from McQuistin. Not sweeping it at all. Waiting for it to curl enough to make sure he gets it, and he does. Rolls it away and leaves the shot rock of Scotland's on the rings. So now, Thompsett needing 2 has to be in the house. And the only shot he's got is to try to freeze down to the Scottish stone, which is back at the tee line. And he gets a big ovation from this crowd in Kitchener. Mert Thompsett, the Canadian skip, as he goes back for his first shot. Scotland leads 4-3. This is the 10th end. We are down to the final 3 rocks. 2 for Canada and 1 for Scotland.
You'll see Mert Thompsett talking to Lyle Derry, and I think he was just questioning maybe has the weight changed over there. Is it a little bit heavier? Derry, of course, threw one through the rings and one pulled up short, so he's just trying to reassure himself. He wants to get that rock somewhere in front of that Scottish rock behind the tee line, forcing Scotland to make a play on it. Oh, he's got lots of weight, too. Now they're starting to work on it. It's starting to get off center line. He's called him off it now. That rock's got a long way to curl.
It does, and it's got a fair head of steam on it.
Well, it's more for line than anything else. He wants to stop in front of it.
Digging in now for him, Don. He'll stop beside it and will have shot, but no backing at all. He is open.
Well, you know, interesting enough, Mert Thompsett put the broom down. Then when he ran down to the other end, he kind of indicated just a little bit more ice, and that was the difference on that shot, because if he takes that 2 inches less ice, that rock curls a little bit more.
So McQuistin with his final shot about to be delivered, leading 4-3. Wants to kill this one and make sure that he'll be at least alive for an extra end. course, the Scots won an extra end yesterday with last rock, which was not needed by McQuistin. Over the United States, 3-2.
McQuistin can afford to come off that other one belonging to himself there. He looks like he's got a line. Now they're starting to work at it. He's going to make contact.
There it goes. He rolls away, leaves the one back there for the final rock by Thompsett, who indicates he'll just draw cold, pull in the 8-foot, and try to take this game to an 11th and extra end. The triple by Norman Brown, the key shot of this game that saves Scotland. No question of that.
Well, you know, this is where it's so very important. Thompson ran down the ice, put the burn down, took about 3 inches more ice. You know, it's not going to get any easier if you stand there and look at it. So he knows the weight that he has to throw. He has to be 3/4 in the 8-foot. Now it's up to the sweepers. Once he lets it go, the sweepers have to decide whether he's heavy or whether he's light. And they should sweep it just lightly at the start, just to make sure. Oh, he's got lots of weight.
Yes,
Whoa.
he did. He gave it a little push at the end.
But that rock
there.
is starting to come over a little bit more. No, he's very strong.
Yep.
It looks like that rock is going to have to curl. Now it's starting to move over now.
He needs to have a piece of it to save it.
It's starting to move over now. Is he going to catch a corner of it? He may just catch a... No, he's by.
Give Scotland the championship. The Scots have won the World Junior title. Thompsett, ever so heavy as he just failed to make contact with the face of the skull.
Oh, that is heartbreaking. Let me tell you, he had this in complete control until that triple kill by Brown. He just threw a little bit extra weight. The rock just slid by. And I know Mert Thompsett's got to be very, very disappointed. He's worked so hard all year to get here. He curled extremely well, and to miss a shot like that normally he would make.
And so McQuistin moves from bronze to silver to gold. Finally here, winning the 1980 Uniroyal World Junior Curling Championship. What a finish. Let's go down to ice level now, and some happy young curlers from Scotland there with Don Whitman.
Well, Andrew McQuistin just now signing the official scorecard, verifying his 5-3 victory over Mert Thompsett. Andrew, that 10th end, a tremendous shot by your third, Norman Brown, to get you out of trouble.
Yeah, it was really needed. You know, they had them. Well, we run into bother there with the front stones. We didn't really want to lie, and they get round. But we're fortunate when he took the winger, he rolled to the centre of the house and he left it on. And Norman sees these shots very fast and plays them quite often. And fortunately, played one just the right time.
You've made a complete sweep now of the medals. You've got the bronze, the silver, and finally that elusive gold.
Yeah, waited a while for this one, and it's great.
Andrew, congratulations. Norman, that was a tremendous shot. You, as Don Duguid described it, you left a vapor trail behind it when you let it go. You threw lots of weight.
Yeah, well, like Andrew said there, it was really needed, and I'm pleased I brought it out of the bag at the right time.
Okay, let's grab the little guy on the rink here. Dick Adams, the lead. Dick, what were you thinking when that final stone was coming down the ice?
Well, it looked heavy, but I wasn't sure. It was off line, so if it was on line, it would have counted.
Well, you fellas pretty well had the Canadian team playing your style of game for the first 8 ends, a straight hitting game, but then things got interesting in the 9th and 10th.
Yeah, well, we gambled earlier on trying to get a 2, but later on we changed our mind and kept it clean. I think that was the best thing to do.
Dick, congratulations again. Here's Hugh Aitken, the second. Hugh, things were getting a little tense in that 10th end.
Yeah, I'm sweating.
Hugh, during the week, everyone commented about how good the ice was here at the Kitchener Auditorium.
This is the best ice I've ever played on. It was so keen, and if you play the brush, you really shouldn't miss, as long as the skip gives you right ice. But Andrew did, and we made it. But it was the best ice I've played on.
What about the Scottish playdowns? You fellas were quite involved, or was this the same rink for the senior title?
No, Andrew and Norman played in the seniors. Dick and I, well, I didn't. I wasn't old enough to play in the seniors, and Dick played with another rink. But we'll be hopefully playing in it next year.
Do you still have eligibility remaining for junior competition?
Yeah, I have 3 years. Norman is 3 years. Andrew's 1 year, and Dick's 1 year.
So conceivably, you fellas could all be back at the junior next year.
We hope so.
Well, you've had a great deal of success, the silver medal last year, and now you've got the gold medal this year. What are you fellas planning in the future as far as this year is concerned, or is this just about it for curling?
This is it.
This is it? Well, that's a great way to go out.
Yeah, that's a great way, yeah.
Once again, Hugh Aitken, congratulations.
Thank you very much indeed.
The Scottish rink skipped by Andrew McQuistin, the champions of the world in junior curling for 1980. We'll return with the presentation right after this.
Since 50 years of making memories.
Most camera stores carry the same cameras at pretty much the same prices. But one store has a camera guarantee that covers 3 years parts and labor and 1 year accidental damage at no extra charge. One store, Black's. Now, where are you going to buy your camera?
Black's is photography.
Patient care in the home with Doncaster Medical. Transferring the patient from the bed to a wheelchair is one of the many useful purposes the mobile patient lifter can do for you. Call Doncaster Medical for information on this and other lifting devices. Visit any of the 6 convenient Doncaster Medical stores.
So, a very happy Scottish team in possession of this Uniroyal World Junior Championship. And, of course, the Canadians have to be very disappointed. They played so well all week at the semifinal yesterday. And in this final game today, and then on the 10th end, one shot turned it all around, and Canada could not recover from that. The shot was from Norman Brown with those 3 Canadian stones at the back of the house all lined up. Well, you saw it happen once. You didn't believe it. Here it is again. 1, 2, 3, a triple, and the shooter stayed, and that changed the entire end. Canada with weight problems then from their third, Lyle Derry, and Mert Thompsett, who had made a semi-freeze in his first rock, just slipped by, was ever so heavy with his final stone, allowing Scotland to steal one more and win it 5-3 and take the World Junior title. We're just waiting now for the start of the closing ceremonies here in this Kitchener Memorial Auditorium, and the Scots, well, it's going to be a happy flight back to Scotland later on when this team heads out of here tomorrow, because they have accomplished a major victory here in the World Junior Championship. As we told you before, 2 members of this team came within 1 rock of winning Scotland's Open Championship, and might have been at the Silver Broom in Moncton had that taken place. But they made it pay off for them here in this World Junior, as the people who've run this championship now, the committee members, are assembled around the ice surface here, getting ready for these closing ceremonies. The Canadians, not winning this year, have won this championship in 1976, 77, and 78. Paul Gausel winning it twice, and Billy Jenkins the other time. It all began in a very informal fashion, this World Junior Championship, at the East York Curling Club in suburb of Toronto, and it's moved from a curling club to big arenas, a crowd of almost 5,000 today watching some outstanding curling, Don Whitman.
Well, they certainly were treated to an exciting match involving Canada and Scotland. As I suggested to the lead of the Scottish rink, Dick Adams, the Canadian team played their style of game through the first 6 or 7 ends, and then in the 8th and 9th and 10th ends, of course, things became rather interesting as Mert Thompsett attempted to go for more than one. And Thompsett, of course, had some bad luck in the 9th end when he was trying to perhaps steal and pick up a pair. And then, of course, that fantastic triple by Norman Brown, the 3rd for the Scottish rink in the 10th end, pretty well sealed Canada's fate. Andrew McQuistin now being ushered to the staging area at the far end of the Kitchener Auditorium so that the presentation ceremonies can begin. But for Andrew McQuistin, it's quite an accomplishment, and don't forget, there's Lyle Derry, that McQuistin and his rink will be back next year. I would have thought that from 1975 through 81, somewhere along the line, he would have run out of eligibility.
Well, Mr. McQuistin is just 19, so indeed he does have another year. Huey Aitken, he's 17. Norman Brown's 18 years of age. Dick Adams, 19. They've got certainly some junior life left of them. I'm wondering if they'll stick with it now, because 2 of them came so close to winning the Scottish Open Championship. Maybe they'll go for a larger prize the next time. But you know one thing, that Scotland's got some good young curlers coming up. Something, frankly, they have lacked over the years. But their program seems to be paying off for them now.
It certainly is, and I'm sure that a man instrumental in that program taking off the way it has is the man I talked with, Chuck Hay, the former world champion who won it all in 1967. It has to be most disappointing for Mert Thompsett. You know, in the Manitoba provincial playdowns this year, he came so close, losing a last rock decision to a young chap by the name of Blanchard, and then to come so close here at the World Junior Championship. And it's, as I said, most disappointing for Mert Thompsett and his rink from Winnipeg. But they certainly have nothing to be ashamed about. They curled well throughout the entire week. They compiled the best overall record, 8-1. They shared that distinction with Scotland, although they were awarded first place on the basis of having beaten Scotland on opening day. And they curled very well yesterday in defeating Thomas Norgren of Sweden, and then came within that whisker today of winning it all.
Well, he can go back to the second end when he missed that free draw for two, and then, of course, just slipping by. He was a half a pound heavy with his last rock, and that was the difference. Apart from that, he didn't miss very much in the way of draw shots all week. Well, I think we're about to get underway here finally with the colorful closing ceremonies in Kitchener of this Uniroyal World Junior Championship.
The championship rink from Scotland making its entrance at the far end. The Scottish rink, skip Andrew McQuistin, third Norman Brown, second Hugh Aitken, and the lead, the little man on the rink, but a big man on the curling ice all week, Dick Adams. And they won't have to walk. They're going to be driven around the Kitchener Auditorium.
They're probably so high right now they could do 20 laps around here and not even feel it. But they'll get the ride as the car is going to make its way right down the center of the sheet on which they won this championship.
You know, Don, we remarked earlier, as a matter of fact, several times during the competition that Andrew McQuistin had the opportunity to gather a complete set of Uniroyal World Junior medals. And, you know, that's quite an achievement. I don't think there will be many others who will come even close, because not too many have the opportunity to participate in as many World Junior Championships as has Andrew McQuistin.
Well, as you recall, he came oh so close last year in that game against Don Barkham of the United States out in Moose Jaw for the silver. Before that, a bronze, now a gold. So he's moving in the right direction. And now the runners-up, the Canadian team being introduced. And here they come, led by a member of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Mike Friesen the lead, Hughie Aitken the second, or that's the Scottish second, of course, Hughie Aitken. Canada's second is Joel Gagne, Lyle Derry, and Mert Thompsett.
Bronze medal went to Sweden's Thomas Norgren. He scored 3 in the first end and then hung on for a 9-7 victory over Scott Dalzell of the United States.
What a battle yesterday between Canada and Sweden just for the right to advance into this championship game today, with the Canadians winning it by 1 point. And now the other teams who competed here all week are being introduced. You met them earlier during our telecast today. Here's the team from Denmark, skipped by Jack Sherroff.
Introducing the team from France.
And the French team, of course, with the sons of two prominent silver broom players over the years, Christophe Beaune and the skip Yves Tronc.
Introducing the team
Christophe's
from
dad,
Germany.
Pierre Beaune, has been in so many World Curling Championships. Now his son getting a shot at this World Junior. From West Germany, team skipped by Christoph Nokel.
The team from Italy.
And the Italians, not getting any wins here, but having a marvelous week. From Cortina, skipped by Adriano Lorenzi, whose dad has been active in the Curling Association of Italy for so many years.
Norway.
The Norwegians, they're always tough in silver broom play. The defending champions 2 weeks from now in Moncton. Norway's team skipped by Paul Trulsen.
Switzerland.
And here comes the Swiss team. Their skip, Rico Simon.
And fourth place winners, the team from the United States of America.
And the United States losing that bronze medal game. They finished fourth officially. Scott Dalzell's team from Devil's Lake. Out they come for a wrap-up to 8 days of excellent curling here in Kitchener. Of course, curling and the pipes, they are synonymous.
You know, when you look back at the championship game, two very definite turning points, perhaps. The second end, where Mert Thompsett missed that free draw for two, and, of course, the 10th end with that fantastic triple by Norman Brown.
When you play it as tight as these teams did, just one or two turning points, and that's the entire difference. And it was today as Scotland defeats Canada 5-3, win this World Junior Championship. It's got to be gratifying for Chuck Hay and all the people in Scotland who worked so hard to develop junior curling over there.
Well, there won't be many concerns about the energy crisis. That car didn't have to travel too far to deliver them to center ice.
And now the Vice President of Uniroyal and the Director, Lorne Hiller, will present the Uniroyal Trophy to Scottish skip Andrew McQuistin and the rest of the Scottish team.
Quite a week for this Scottish rink. They win it all, and their coach, Chuck Hay, is named Coach of the Year.
There it is, the Uniroyal Trophy. Soon to be on its way over the ocean to Scotland.
That's the first time the Scots have won this trophy. It's gone to Sweden. 3 times it's resided here in Canada. And, of course, last year's champion, Don Barkin of the United States.
Now Mr. Hiller will present medallions, gold medallions, to each member of the team.
And that
Andrew
completes the set
McQuistin.
for Andrew. The bronze, the silver, and today the gold.
Norman Brown.
He earned it right there in the 10th end for that triple.
Hugh Aiken.
Hugh Aitken, the left-handed shooting second of this young Scottish team.
He has further honors coming his way as well.
That's right. And the youngest member of the league.
As well, each member of the team will receive an individual trophy, in addition to the Uniroyal Trophy, which will now bear the Scottish name. This is Andrew McQuistin's 3rd attempt at the Uniroyal World Junior Curling Championships.
Wonder who
in
pays for the excess
1975,
baggage heading
the team
home.
he was on won a bronze medal. Last year it was silver, and in 1980, gold in Kitchener-Waterloo.
Very attractive individual trophies in the hands of the Scottish team to go along with the Uniroyal
And
Master
finally,
Trophy.
the banner to the winner, which Andrew McQuistin will take and hang in his home club in Sweden.
I think he means Scotland, yes. I think the Swedish players are willing to accept just standing in behind him on the right.
Yes, they were applauding that announcement. A slight faux pas there.
International Friendship Week, but he will probably keep it in Scotland.
There is the banner, indicating they are the World Junior Champions of 1980.
And now to present the silver medals to the winning rink from Canada, here's Sven Eklund, President of the International Curling Federation.
And this young Canadian team from Winnipeg steps forward now to receive the silver medals. And they get a tremendous ovation here.
Well, they're discouraged, disappointed, but they should be warmed by the tremendous round of applause they're receiving from this crowd at the Kitchener Auditorium.
Skip Mert Thompsett. To third, Lyle Derry. To second, Joe Gagne. And to the lead, McQuistin.
Presentations made by Sven Eklund of Sweden.
And now to present the medal to the bronze medal winning rink from Sweden. Here is Tom Dixon, president of the Royal Caledonian Curling Club in Scotland. Mr. Dixon will present the medal to skip first, Thomas Norgren. To third, Peter Svendlund. To second, Connie Ekholm. And to the lead, Eric Peterson.
Well, Eric Pettersson of Sweden also has some further recognition in that he was chosen the All-Star lead. The All-Star third and skip, as we mentioned earlier, Lyle Derry and Mert Thompsett. Hugh Aitken of Scotland, the second.
Daniels, and accompanied by Diane Daniels.
And now the Scottish anthem.
Flags of the medal-winning nations,
At this point in time, ladies
Scotland,
and gentlemen,
Canada,
I would like
and
to call
Sweden,
on the people who have
being
been
raised
supplying music
above the
all week for us
presentation
here
podium.
at the Uniroyal World Junior Curling Championship. Project people from right here in Kitchener-Waterloo to sing the song they wrote especially for the World Junior Curling Championship. It was written by two members of the group, Barry Daniels and Johnny Ray Lalong, and I'm sure they'll be glad if you join along. Project people with It's Our Day.
Start of the day, our candle of our way, we fly from yesterday. We fill the stage and set the pace from around the world right to this place. Hey, 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 it's our day. Through passing rocks, crashing out of the hat, build up that core and
Well, the wind-up to the week in Kitchener here with Scotland winning it, and let's have a look at these All-Stars. Let's meet them now. Eric Pettersson, the outstanding lead, is chosen by the panel of selectors here from Sweden. And the second on the Scottish team, Hugh Aitken, named All-Star second. One of the top shooters all week long from Canada. There he is, Lyle Derry, picked as the All-Star third. And the man right next to him is small consolation, Mert Thompsett. He is the All-Star skip, but would much rather have had that World Junior Championship. So that is the story here as Scotland beats Canada 5-3 to win the World Junior Curling title. For Don Dugan and Don Whitman, Don Chevrier saying so long from Kitchener.
The Uniroyal World Junior on Sports Weekend has been brought to you by Labatt Breweries of Canada Limited, brewers of Labatt's 50 Ale and Labatt's Blue.
Lots of fun in Kitchener and a very exciting final game. Well, yesterday we were unable